vex for me if I no showcase this talent to feed my children.
Ilé-iṣẹ́ rédíò kan ń bẹ, òun láyé ń gbọ́. Ó jálé ó jákó, amúlùdùn ní ẹgbọ́nà rédíò wo là ń wí. Vicinity FM 95.3 FM là ń sọ. Vicinity FM kejì ilé láti ń gbóhùn sáfẹ́fẹ́. Vicinity FM sporting political programs o. Vicinity FM ìròyìn tí o lè jẹ́ gbàgbọ́ nínú rárá. Vicinity FM educative programs now who gets am all. Vicinity FM oníṣòwò oníṣẹ́ owó. Vicinity FM polówó ọjà kájé wọ̀gbà. Vicinity FM reliable dependable àwa ni o. Vicinity FM unique praise ló ń pariwo pé. Vicinity FM ní. Vicinity 95.3 FM orí òkè téńté la wà.
It's Melody Songs.
Good afternoon. It's Vicinity 95.3 FM. It's Teachers Affairs this afternoon. I am glad to be here. I'm your host, Oluwafunke Israel. Today it's a cool day. How are you doing? I hope some of our teachers in school get to sip some hot tea because this weather calls for something very, very hot or warm that you can, sip and just enjoy the weather. It's a good weather, I must say. But that's not why we are here. There was a time when teachers, enjoy things like this. You go to cafeteria and they say, okay, food there for teachers is free. You get food for free. You get to eat and drink. Not too much, anyways. And I think it's a way government can bring that back. A lot of things we don't do today, and we think it's not, it doesn't matter. It does matter. Today, the Minister of Education, put a statement out there saying over 4,000 teachers fail national qualify examination. And people are bound to fail and pass, especially when they don't even know what they're preparing for. This is not to say, teachers are not supposed to pass the examination, because you should even pass you should be able to take tests that shows you're qualified for the job, so we know that our students or pupils or your scholars are in great hands. And the minister said, ordinary national qualifying tests, they did not, over 4,000 teachers did not pass this test. And this test was carried out between May 15 and May 17, and eventually the results came out under the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. According to the official data obtained, a total of 13,782 candidates registered for the exams, and 12,874 candidates sat for the test, while 908 were absent. Out of those who sat for the exam, 8,705 candidates, with amount for 67% passed, while 4,169 failed. So for people who passed the examination, we have 67% of the number of people who sat for the examination passed, while 32 failed. Lagos State recorded the highest pass rate at 80%. And this is another consideration anyway. So let's see the states where teachers failed this exam. And Lagos decided, to show off, tell us that yes, they have the A game when it comes to passing exams or recruiting the best people in the field. They had the highest pass rate at 80%, followed by Edo. They always say Edo people do not play with education, and sometimes we've always tossed that aside, but it's true. And this is a pointer to the fact that although Edo does not play with education, I've always heard that if you leave out Southwest and go to the Southwest, and still in the South here, if you want to pick the state that's very big on education and pay close attention to education, it's Edo. And now they have shown us, because by the ratings here and the figure before me, Edo State had teachers who sat for this exam, 73% of them passed. We have the highest being Lagos, 80%, followed by Niger State, 69%. In the Federal Capital Territory, the 68%. You know what they say? If we have the best teacher doing this thing, we would. There's the likelihood for us raising, scholars of our time. Well, these are the top. So Niger came third with 69%, and the Federal Capital Territory with 68%. Now we see teachers in this, state doing well. And sadly, FCT, thank God for Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and some wiki coming in to make sure, local council heads pay up teachers. These teachers, they've been at home for months, but thankfully they've resumed work because wiki weighed in on it and said if they are not paid, it will make sure that even the local council heads, something will happen to them. Not anything serious. You just take measures and see that they don't also get their own, salary. Since you are withholding people's salary, you too, you won't get the money. Let's make it like that, so you will feel what they are feeling as well. And that's how this is all on the teachers' examination. When the Minister of Education said, 4,000 people failed the test, and over 12,000 candidates, sat for the examination. Well, I still think we'll have a shot here at getting better at this. Given the circumstances, we still have, a large number of people who pass the examination, and this is just to tell us that now we would not see, teaching as just something we do by the side. People always see teaching as is that one is it a profession? We're just doing it because we don't have any other thing. There are no jobs out there. So this would further help, board stakeholders to understand that as much as we'd like to relegate this particular profession, we are going to tighten our resolve to say that the people coming in, they will not just see it as an avenue to just teach. Of course, you have to prepare yourself to sit for an examination, a qualifying examination that will show that truly you have what it takes, to be recruited as a teacher, because the life of a number of scholars are in your hands, and their future is also in your hands, I must say. I move away from this particular story this morning. Let's see other things happening right there, out there on the scene. Well, from this corner, Teachers Institute, we have heard, National Teachers Institute, we have heard in recent times that innovation has brought about the institution accounting for the rise of enrollment of teachers. It's no news that people have been clamoring for more recruitment. We want more teachers at our schools. And this brings me to, this sad event. Well, if you have stumbled on that image or video whatsoever of this school, they sat for their SSC in the night. Huh. Hey, yeah. This country, So let me not, overpaint the picture or be, or I don't want to be overly dramatic about it. But at night, SSCE, students were pointing torchlights to the examination paper, and teachers also helped them, carry lamps and all that. This show a lot. We're not doing good, in some areas, honestly. No electricity. If you even see the building of the school, don't let me even mention where the school is. Let's just, at this point, sympathize with these students. Imagine if they have another paper slated for the next morning. How are they even going to, feel rejuvenated for the next paper, or relax and even revise for the next, paper they have? And this just, makes me feel sad. Honestly, in the world we are today, we want to see improvement, not us, not we going back. We should move forward. The system we have now is fast-paced, and we should move with what we have. We should keep moving as the world is evolving in all aspects of life. So for those students, I hope they pass that exam, because I don't know how I'll be straining my eyes. And kudos to the teachers who were there with them. Then this also sudden sad event as well. In a school where students were writing the examination and the building collapsed. Sad. Teachers were affected, external examiners were affected. Some of the students, were injured in the process. Some even suffered limb fracture. You know what this means? I go to sit for an exam and I don't get to go back to my family the way I came. It's not funny, honestly. And this is away from the one where students, were sitting for exam at night and all of that. This too, it was in the evening, but I guess there was a heavy downpour and storm in their area, and the roof of the school, of the classrooms, just come crashing in on these students. They were wounded, injured students as well. Like I mentioned, some of them even suffer, limb fracture. This is sad. What do you tell these, students? They hear their parents complain about the system. They also see what's happening. They even get to experience firsthand. And this is not a good experience, honestly. It's enough that we have to go out there and fend and work hard to make livelihood and make ends meet. Another thing that's not good enough is Nigeria happening to you in a way where you get to feel real pain and torture. I'm serious, and this is real pain. To those students who were injured, who had limb fracture, because they were sitting for exam, they didn't ask the rain to fall. And this is the season of rain. We are not going to start praying that God, please hold rain in our country, because we don't have good buildings, good school infrastructure. So we're hoping that this roof does not collapse on us. And in some schools where you go, you see leaking roof. Teachers will say, yeah, go and bring bucket outside. Let's put it under where we have leaks or leakages. All of these things. This is not fair on, the pupils. This is not a good experience. All the time, somebody used to say, well, we should allow our children to, especially people who are particular about taking their children out there, making their children see other parts of the world, and not allow them experience, whatever is going on here firsthand. And there was time somebody raised this concern that, well, it's good to let your children know where you're from and know what's, it's obtainable here. And one woman said, no, I beg. Sometimes, some of this experience, you don't know what it will do to these children. And so I beg, I'm not allowing my children come anywhere close to all of these things we see around here. they are good where they are. And if you want to reason with, this woman, now don't get me wrong, even in the best system whatsoever, still children will be what they want to be. Children can turn out good or turn out bad. But sometimes when you see circumstances like this, we don't want to see, students suffer for no just cause. You go to other systems of the other, a developed nation, you see how students, how we're catered for. We're not saying those people, they teach students on the platter of gold. No, they don't take, classes in the moon. But at least they also have their challenges. You can't tell me even in the US there are no schools where they have some buildings not properly, put together. But some of these challenges are not as broadened like ours. They're not as, disturbing like what we have here. So I agree with that mom who said, no, I don't want my children to experience this. But while we want to give our children better life, let's think about the children who do not have parents who can afford, that luxury, who have to just stick with whatever the government is offering here, and they get to see this, they get to, experience what it is right now. And it's not fair on these children, because all they ask for is just to have a good life. I know children, they are innocent. So there was this time there was this pole they were erecting around an area in a state where I really don't feel like mentioning. And a child came out and said, "Wọ́n ṣe máa to gbogbo òpó nìyẹn, kúkú ní faná sí, kò sí kankan jàre, kò tortoise in this country." A little child, I was like, why would you say that? Say, the way the boy even said it, is it the first time you will see, electric poles? This is not the first time now. We've seen it, how many years now? Even before I was born, my mommy told me that they've been erecting these poles. Now they are not, putting cable on it. They don't give us price. Well, we all like to tell the bad story, but today I tell you, I decided, there was time I was having a conversation with a parent from that area, and she said, well, we don't have electricity in this area. I'm like, wow, now, well, this boy will be convinced that our government can do better, because it was like, well, which lights? We don't have lights, Harry. And I'm like, well, it's good to know that eventually, government did something and they restored power to that community. So we want to give our children, even not, if not the best of life, but good life. Just something as simple as a good life. And if they can't have that, then why are we here? Now, I would say that this examination situation is not just it's in Osun as well. Osun students, teachers lament nightfall WAEC examination. Why is that? So the candidates of the ongoing West African Examination Council lamented delay in commencement of English language subject examination part 2 and part 3. Of course, the delay caused the students to write the exam at night. Imagine if the school where this building collapsed, if the paper had arrived on time, these students would have had better time, to even enjoy taking that exams. But now they have to wait till night. And then night came, it started to rain. Well, be that as it may, if it even rained in the afternoon, the same thing will happen, because if the rain was still heavy and tough, of course, the roof is weak, it will still bring it down. But this happening at night is unforgivable. Let's not say it's unforgivable. Of course, we should always learn to forgive. But tell me how you want these children to feel. And we have the same circumstance here. Students in Osun, they've also lamented that, why would we be taking exams at night, 7 p.m., and the exam ended 9 p.m., as against the 4 p.m. scheduled. And it was learned that the candidate finished the part oral English in the morning and waited for the part 2 and 3, scheduled for 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. So where did they put all these exam questions that got delayed and then it arrived 7 p.m.? Hi! A source in WAECU pleaded anonymity. It said it's true that the talked about the delayed time of commencement of the examination, but it was due to leakage of exam question across the state. Oh, so this is the situation. So the paper leaked. Who leaked the paper? I'm not working in WAEC. The students are not working in WAEC office. Teachers, I'm sure, they don't work in WAEC office. And it's only people who are in-house that would try to leak the paper because they want to sell it. And when they sell it, or somebody is seeking, okay, let's get us the paper so we can help our students so they will pass. So when they see the question before the exam, of course they know what to answer, because you know that money will come into your pocket. And somebody decided to leak the paper, and now the paper got leaked. The examination body discovered it was leaked. They had to reschedule the time, making sure that maybe they reprint and then just reshuffle the whole thing, set another question. Do you know what that means? So this is why the paper got delayed, and now it affected some students in some schools, even causing them harm. Well, on this note, we'll just understand that, we are the problem of this country somehow, because if somebody was not into the business of malpractice and decided to sell leaked paper, we won't have students, take the exams at night. And the board is just trying to make sure that they do not allow students sit for that exam where after the paper got leaked. They're just trying to salvage the situation and see what caused other things to happen. Just one factor resulted in other problems and challenges. Honestly, that person who leaked that paper should ask for forgiveness for the children who got harmed during the process. I guess this is where I get to call it a day on teachers' affairs, and for our teachers who decided to stay with these students during the time. I say God be with you. And for those who got wounded in that school where the roof collapsed, may God, heal you. May you never experience this again. We are seeking a better country, better system. This is the only thing we're asking for, and we hope you get to give us that for our teachers, for our students, and for the future of this country. I am Oluwafunke Israel. Do have yourself a great day.
We lead while